All of you know that functionalism, particularly Parsons functionalism, was dominant in American sociology during 1950s. But then its importance is declined during 1960s due to lots of criticism by other theories. And again during 1980s, there was an attempt made to revise functionalism in the form of Neo-functionalism in American sociology. And this attempt was actually by reviewing the criticism of functionalism and also overcoming its difficulties. Now, the term neo-functionalism is actually used to show that is a continuation and extension of functionalism, but it was also something new because neo-functionalism caused revision and reconstruction of functionalism. In the sense that it has widened the scope of functionalism, but at the same time it retained the theoretical basis or core of functionalism. Now, since neo-functionalism is an attempt to overcome the difficulties or criticism of functionalism, particularly Parsons functionalism, therefore it is necessary to consider the criticism of functionalism. Now, let's take up some of the criticism of functionalism. The first criticism of functionalism, especially Parsons functionalism, is that functionalism is very abstract and general. Therefore, it is necessary to make functionalism more concrete and empirical. So this is the first criticism of functionalism, especially Parsons functionalism. Parsons functionalist theory was a grand theory and it was more abstract and in nature. Therefore, the first criticism says that functionalism must give more focus to concrete and empirical phenomena. Now, the second criticism is that functionalism, particularly Parsons functionalism, was largely concerned with macro phenomena such as social system and social structure. All of you know that functionalism is a macro theory and it's given more importance to the macro phenomena of social system and social structure. So the criticism is that functionalism give only focus to macro phenomena. Therefore, it is necessary to give focus to micro phenomena such as individual action and interaction pattern between individuals. Now, the third criticism of functionalism, particularly Parsons functionalism, is that functionalism was concerned with integration of parts of society based on the concept of social control. All of you know that the core of functionalism actually lies in the integration of parts of society. Therefore, the criticism of functionalism says that functionalism necessarily consider the conflict between parts of society based on the concept of deviance. Now again, the fourth criticism is that functionalism, particularly Parsons functionalism, was concerned with equilibrium and stability. Therefore, it is necessary to consider social change. All of you know that functionalism give less importance to social change and they always talk about stability and equilibrium. So, this is again the fourth criticism of functionalism, that they must give more importance to social change. Now, based on these criticisms, Alexander developed the neo-functional theory. Neo-functionalist like Alexander says that there is not a developed theory of neo-functionalism. But then Alexander has given some of the basic orientations of neo-functionalism. So this basic orientation can be used to overcome the difficulties and criticism of functionalism. So Alexander has given 5 basic orientation in order to avoid the criticism of functionalism and to develop a neo-functional theory. And the first orientation which is given by Alexander is that neo-functionalism operates with concrete and empirical model of society, so that we can avoid the criticism of functionalism, because functionalism, particularly Parsons functionalism, was given more importance to the abstract model of society. So Alexander says that in neo-functionalism the concrete and empirical model is also applied. And the second orientation which is given by Alexander is that neo-functionalism gives equal attention to micro level of individual action and macro level of social system and social structure, and thus avoid the criticism of functionalism that it given more importance to macro phenomena. So this again second basic orientation which is given by Alexander, that it give equal importance to micro and macro phenomena of society. And the third orientation of neo-functionalism given by Alexander is that neo-functionalism does not consider integration of parts of society as a fact but only as a possibility. That means there may be a possibility of conflict or deviance, etc. in society. Again, the fourth point is that neo-functionalism regard change is the result of deviance and conflict. Therefore, there is much possibility of change, conflict and deviance as of stability, integration and social control. So functionalism also given consideration to social change and conflict and deviance in society as of integration and social control. Now the final point is that neo-functionalism concerned with equilibrium in much broader way than functionalism. Basically meaning that neo-functionalism regard equilibrium not as static but it's a dynamic phenomenon in which there is a movement from one equilibrium to another. So they have given equilibrium is not a very static phenomena but equilibrium is a very dynamic phenomena. There can be changes in society. So these are the basic orientations of neo-functionalism which is given by Alexander.